Jerry Custin, and we're here today for our third annual Upper Tampa Bay Manufacturers Association Award Ceremony. And I have with me today Bill Johnson, the President and CEO of Enterprise Florida, as well as Florida's Secretary of Commerce. And we also have Wade Elliott, the Vice President of Marketing and Business Development at Port Tampa Bay. What we're going to be here today doing is discussing the strengths and opportunities of our regional economy, especially as it relates to manufacturing. Is that okay, guys?
Absolutely.
All right. Bill, you've been on the job for about 6 months now after a pretty distinguished career down there in Miami-Dade. And with that perspective, what's your primary mission with the state now, and how do you see Florida's economy from a strength standpoint?
Well, first, the economy, for the most part, for the state of Florida is doing well. Most of the large urban areas have rebounded from the recession of a few years ago. Some of the rural areas still have a ways to go, but for the most part, Florida has clearly rebounded. Net jobs since Governor Scott's been in office is 930,000 net new private sector jobs. What we do at Enterprise Florida, we're not a state agency, we're a public-private operation, the first such model in the country, just about 20 years old. And our sole purpose is really to work with our existing businesses and with companies interested in moving to Florida to allow, if you will, the expansion of industry and specifically, therefore, create more jobs. So Enterprise Florida, EFI, is all about job creation. One of the things that we do, and one of the things I want to focus on as the new head of Enterprise Florida, is the opportunity to really sell our key industries. Manufacturing clearly is one of the industries we want to help promote and sell. We need more and more manufacturing, and we need to provide opportunities for existing companies in our state engaged in manufacturing to work with them to help them be able to grow and expand.
That's great. And one of the things I think that you're interested in, though, because we work with Max Stewart down here in this county, is the ability to get those goods not only manufactured, but let's get more exporting out so we bring foreign money into this country.
Absolutely. One of the key selling points of Florida, when you sell your state as a premier business location, and I think Florida clearly is the best location of all 50 states for a number of different reasons. One is the investment our legislature makes. They really understand the importance of K through 12 and education and STEM training, the importance of having a skilled trained workforce. You got to have a skilled, trained workforce. And then ultimately, they've put incredible amounts of money in the infrastructure. This year, Florida again leads the nation. Out of all 50 states, no state invests more in its infrastructure than the state of Florida. And again, that's our roads, that's our airports, the 19 commercial airports and our 15 seaports. The opportunity for our state, the state of Florida, to be the center of this entire hemisphere for trade and logistics, the movement in, the movement out of product. And we want more and more of that product to be manufactured, assembled, built right here in Florida, to be moved in and to be moved out. That's what it's all about, through our ports.
That's pretty exciting, and that's what we're trying to convince our manufacturers to do that. Wade, I'll turn to you on that. And you and Bill share something very important. He was also Port Miami director in a previous career, and Port Miami is known as the cruise capital of the world. Port Tampa Bay, from what I looked up, is one of the top 8 cruise ports in the country. But I think ports are more than just cruises, aren't they? And tell us a little more about Port Tampa Bay brings to the economic table for the region.
Thank you, Jerry. Cruise certainly is an important part of our business, as it is throughout the state of Florida. I mean, we are the world leader in cruise. The nice thing about Port Tampa Bay is we are not only the largest port in the state, both in terms of the amount of cargo we handle, but also our footprint and acreage. But more importantly, we're one of the most diverse in the country. So we handle cruise, we handle bulk, break bulk, exports, imports, consumer goods, energy products, construction and building materials. So it's quite a diverse mix of commodities. And for a manufacturer in the Tampa Bay area, I mean, you really have the best of all worlds. You've got the proximity to the entire Florida Peninsula, now the third largest state in the country. But our situation, positioned so close to Latin America, to be able to use this area as a platform to export throughout the hemisphere, and with the expanded Panama Canal, of course, the world and Asia. So we're investing to make sure we're ready and positioned to grow as the market grows and the manufacturing sector grows. We've got new Post-Panamax cranes that'll be here early next year to handle the larger container ships that are coming to Florida. And so we're excited. But you're right, you need manufacturing for exports to balance with the imports. And Tampa Bay is a great location to do that.
Sounds pretty exciting. Let's zero in a little bit more on manufacturing. Many folks don't realize the strength it brings to our economy, and manufacturers actually generate more tax revenue than tourism for Pinellas County, and a lot of people don't really realize that. In our four-county area, which we describe as Hernando, Hillsborough, Pasco, and Pinellas, we have over 2,500 manufacturers, so we're probably a quarter or a third of what the states have down here, and 60,000 jobs. But we all know, like we say, we have this trade issue, and how much of Florida exporting does manufacturing bring to the table? I think it's a pretty good amount, isn't it?
It's a huge amount, and again, your point, I think, is a good one. We all recognize in Florida the importance of tourism, the importance of military, the importance of agriculture. Again, that's ag product that can be moved in and out of our ports. But the opportunity, and this is a huge, huge opportunity. Talk about low-hanging fruit. The opportunity in Florida is to increase the amount of manufacturing. And if we take the companies today in our state that are manufacturing and exporting that, most of them go to one country. If they would now double that, go to a second country, the amount of product, but also the number of jobs that will be created through that are incredible. I would also say, this is important to know, probably the largest contributor to the economy in this area would be your airport. Of course, this is a great international airport here with Tampa, and Port Tampa Bay. I would have believed that Port Tampa Bay is probably one of the, if not the largest, one of the largest contributors to job generation and overall economic wealth. That's true in Jacksonville, that's true in Fort Lauderdale with Port Everglades, that's true in Miami with Port Miami. Your airports, and we have 19 of them, and your 15 seaports all over the state, uniquely position our state, I believe, in the best position in this country to be the logistics center for the entire hemisphere, in and out. And there's no question, the state of Florida, and that's one of the reasons I'm focused as the new head of EFI, on opportunities to increase manufacturing in our state. One of the biggest number one priorities for me.
Well, you both talked about infrastructure, and I had a couple more questions on infrastructure, but I think you've covered that one pretty well.
I would just add, Jerry, that Bill's hit the nail on the head. I mean, the state, EFI have really been the linchpin behind the growth of infrastructure. Certainly been great partners with the port as we've been expanding and adding new capacity, and that's so important.
What do you think we do to get manufacturers in the game? I know we work with Max, and there's some incentives out there. What kind of things do we need to do here to pull them out?
That's a good question, and I think we have to double down. We have to really get the word out. The Florida legislature, and I want to thank our legislators, this past session provided $10 million, first time, to really market, if you will, our state as a premier business destination. Manufacturing is part of that. We have the premier program in the world through Visit Florida. Visit Florida is phenomenally successful. We'll have over 100 million visitors to our state this year. There's 20 million of us. If we just increase the amount of consumption of goods that the 20 million residents and the 100 million visitors who come here, we're going to be incredibly creating thousands of jobs through our ports. Consumption by our guests and our residents is hugely important. So how do we do this? We work as one. Enterprise Florida is going to continue to work with you, the Manufacturers Association, with all of our local regional economic development organizations. We're going to work with our ports, our airports. We're a leader in the nation. When you look at the concept of 3P, public-private partnership, this state, our state, Florida has led the way for the last decade. Look at the work that's underway all over the state through our State Department of Transportation. Wise use of state dollars, public dollars matched with private dollars, in an unbelievable success called public-private partnership. The public are the ones, we are the ones who benefit. We lead. So many states have never even entered this realm of 3P partnership. So Florida is progressive, and we are going to really work hard with our local stakeholders and with you to really get the word out, utilizing this 10 million of marketing dollars to let our friends in Asia, our friends in Latin America know what Florida has to offer. We're premier, we've got it all. Great quality of life, incredible, enviable tax situation. Crime's at a 44-year low. We got the right infrastructure. We got the power systems. Florida is the place to come and to invest. Florida is the place to come and open up your company to manufacture right here. and make more product, more widgets to be moved through his port at Tampa Bay.
You said one thing that really got me, and that's one focus we're going to do tonight, and that is working as one.
Working as one.
Yeah, Max was telling me about your background on team and troubleshooting, and I was telling you a little bit my background is military, and that's one too. That's unity.
Well, I'm remiss. I should also acknowledge the key historical drivers of this economy are, of course, tourism, agriculture, hugely important. But let's look at military, and this often doesn't get recognized. The federal installations, those military bases, 750,000 Floridians have a job because of the military. It's over $75 billion to the economy of our state. Military is hugely important. And when those military officers, when they go to retire, we've got a skilled, trained workforce. And they want to stay here. Why?
I do.
Quality of life.
Yeah,
Quality
I do.
of life.
Exactly
We can get them right into manufacturing jobs.
Yeah.
We've got to sell that. We have a skilled, trained workforce ready to go.
Well, we have the people out here to do it tonight, I hope.
Good.
We've talked a lot about the rosiness in the picture. Do you see any challenges that need to be working out? You know, for instance, suppose we are really successful at getting manufacturers to double down. Is our infrastructure good enough at the ports and airports to handle it?
I think the infrastructure, thanks to the governor's leadership and the partnership with Enterprise Florida, I think we're there. Department of Transportation. I think, as you pointed earlier, getting manufacturers out of their comfort zone, recognizing the opportunity that's at their kind of fingertips here,
Right.
with the markets that are so close to Florida. Join Enterprise Florida on a train mission. Go to visit these countries. I mean, it can be so easy once you're with a good group and you got good contacts on the other side, and it's a turnkey, gold key service that Enterprise Florida brings to the table. So they'll set you up with customers and vendors and really make it a painless kind of effective trip.
One of the things I think it's important to say, I'm focused also, again, the rural areas are doing quite well. I'm focused on the rural areas are not doing quite as well as the urban areas. So one of the areas, or one of the things I've focused on is getting into the rural communities and small businesses. We're paying a lot of attention, a lot of focus, on new startup businesses and on small business. The majority of American economy is driven, as true in Florida, by small business. So we need to pay a lot of attention to how we can nurture and protect the businesses that are here.
Super. So if we can get those people out there in that room, listen to us, we can get some things done. Is that right?
You got it.
All right. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. It's great out there. We got about 175 people waiting for us.
Thank you.